MainOne has been a leading provider of innovative telecom services and network solutions for businesses in West Africa. The company's expansion project has been gathering pace, the latest being a 100-rack facility in Apollona, Accra, Ghana, which the company says would offer open access connectivity options to all the leading telecom networks in Ghana and direct access to MainOne and other submarine cable systems. Joining us here in the Lagos studio to tell us more about this project is Gbenga Adegbiji, Chief Operations Officer of MDXI Data Centers, MainOne's data center subsidiary. Mr. Adegbiji is a seasoned information technology and telecommunications infrastructure professional with over 20 years of experience in data center telecommunications, IT infrastructure, and project management. Mr. Adegbiji, thank you for joining us on the morning show. You're welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Vati, and good morning, everyone.
Yes, good to have you. Well, before we begin to talk about MainOne, we'd like your comment on the state of internet connectivity and data centers in Nigeria at the moment, as the broadband reach all corners of Nigeria as promised. And if not, why is that still the case?
Well, let me say that if you're talking about broadband penetration in Nigeria, we still have a long way to go. I want to admit that a lot of ground had been covered. If you look at where Nigeria was in 2000, early 2000, 2001, thereabout, you notice that a lot of ground has been covered. But if you're talking about internet penetration, we still have a lot to go. If you look at the, for instance, in Nigeria, according to NCC, you have about 40% of 4G penetration in Nigeria. What that means is that there is still a 60% that has not been serviced. Now, there are lots of underlying factors, you know, when you're talking about infrastructure development of this nature. One of the problems is not really the fact that you don't have, you know, internet broadband, you know, at the coast of Nigeria. For instance, in Lagos, you have about 5, you know, broadband, international capacity in Nigeria, in Lagos, for instance. But to take it to where the customers are, where the subscribers are, where the people are, has been a challenge. So one of the problems is the issue of the right of way. I mean, if you want to put it that way. Before now, you have most state governments believe that right of way is a source of revenue. But I think that is changing. So I want to believe that, you know, if what has happened in the last couple of months continue to happen, there's going to be continuous awareness on how government should see right of way as not really as revenue generation, but of course as a way of you know, developing their state, their individual state. So we're still a little bit, we have a lot to do. I mean, let me talk. For instance, today you still have primary school not connected, secondary school are not connected, local governments, some state governments are not connected to the internet. So we still have a lot to do.
What has changed with regards to rights of way that you just mentioned specifically? Are you still being charged for rights of way by states and local governments? Yes,
you're being charged. Yes, all over the world. In most places, I mean, all over the world, right of way should come with some level of payment. But what we've seen in Nigeria really is that state governments see it as a huge source of revenue. So to meet their fiscal you know, need for a particular year. So, you know, parastatals are given the task of, you know, getting revenue for the government, and a lot of the parastatals are looking at how much they're going to make from the right of way, you know, to be able to contribute to the purse of the state government. But the way it should be looked at is, if you're looking at right of way and internet penetration, the best way for you know, state government and even the nation as a whole to really deepen infrastructure, you know, penetration, and of course enable technology infrastructure, digital infrastructure, is by allowing an open access, you know, whereby anybody can come in, you know, to develop the industry in terms of bringing finance into the industry. And if right-of-way become an issue, people are not able to, some state governments are not even giving right-of-way. When you look at the amount of money charged, you will know that this is a way of discouraging people from even building. So yes, we've been charged for right-of-way, and everybody, anybody that operates in Nigeria will be charged. But what we're saying is that the charge should be looked at in a way. In fact, some state government right now, maybe I mentioned that in the last two or three, let me say in the last 1 year, for instance, we've seen government saying right-of-way, come to my state and have the right-of-way free. And what those state governments are doing to their state is that they are encouraging investment to come into those states. And then, jobs will be created. People in Kara Namoda, in Sokoto, Kebbi, remote area will also be able to have access to the internet, which, of course, will bring about a lot of digitalization of the industry.
I think Ekiti State leads the way as regards, making right-of-way free. And I've had some good stories coming out of that area. But I want to talk about the Apollona Center. I mean, what does it have to offer? Data center out of Ghana. I mean, what does it have to offer for us? The
plan for Apollona Data Center, really, Apollona Data Center is a data center we're bringing up in Ghana. It's expected to be up by the end of this month, and official commissioning should be sometimes the second week of June. The plan, generally, the plan of MainOne is to increase penetration of digital infrastructure and, enable businesses across West Africa. Our focus is West Africa, and that is why, if you look at the line of our cable, submarine cable, we're connected to about 10 countries now in West Africa. That's where we have presence. And so Apollona Data Center is to provide digital infrastructure and enable business in Ghana and around the around the West African coast. I mean, countries that are close to Ghana. For instance, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Ivory Coast. Of course, we have another data center in Ivory Coast. So the Apollona Data Center is a 1 megawatt. I mean, if you want to look at in terms of capacity, data center size in terms of the amount of power that they can deliver. It's a 1 megawatt facility, and it's a 100 rack, just like Dr. Abati mentioned. And it is the objective is to provide access, open access for businesses in Ghana, for instance, and in the environment, and to be able to develop the ecosystem so that, we have the likes of the OTTs, the big internet, content developers or content, generating companies to come into Ghana. And then, just create an ecosystem within the Ghanaian environment to enable business generally.
Well, very quickly, Mr. Adegbiji, let me ask you, yes, it's good to talk about West Africa, but let's come back home, here in Nigeria. You are asked the question, is the national broadband policy in Nigeria working? What would be your opinion?
Well, I want to say that, yes, it's working, and don't forget that we're just 1 year from a 5-year plan. So there's a the last broadband plan that was commissioned, that was developed last year was meant to be a 5-year plan. We have COVID, which of course has also been a kind of a hindrance in the implementation of that policy. But today you have digital identity like NIN, for instance. You have, a lot of other initiatives that is on the back of that broadband. So I want to say, yes, it's working. Again, but we have another 4 years to go. So, and I want to believe that with the commitment of government and the regulators, NCC, for instance, we should be able to see a lot of ground covered in the next 4 years before the expiration of the time that was given. The target that was given for the implementation.
Let's talk about the yearly program, Nerds Unite. What's different this year in terms of content and direction?
Content and direction for MainOne. Did I hear you correctly?
Nerds Unite.
Oh, Nerds Unite. Nerds Unite, it's a gathering of professionals, a gathering of technologists and, users, providers, service providers, that we host every year. This is a MainOne initiative to bring, professionals together to discuss how, this industry can be further developed. And this happens every year. The next edition is coming very soon. And the objective is actually to look at where we are as a country and as a continent, and then what do we need to do to be able to catch up with the rest of the world. So you have, professionals will be coming in, to share their ideas on how, the company, the country can actually tap into this next digital opportunities, to be able to create job and then, of course, improve our economy as a whole. So that's really what NetUnited is all about.
I mean, still speaking about NetUnited, what will make it unique this year? I know it's been on for quite a while since 2016 thereabout.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember. You're one of us,
So what makes it unique and different? I mean, and this time, and how will it help to build that ecosystem, for developers across the African continent and help them scale?
Yeah, thanks, Rufai. If you look at where we were some 3-4 years ago that you were mentioning, a lot has been done, and technology is evolving every day. So today we're talking about cryptocurrency, we're talking about autonomous driving, talking about, so many, technology coming up. And all this technology will depend on infrastructure. So as a player in the infrastructure industry, digital infrastructure, I mean, MainOne, we have submarine fiber, we have the metro fiber, we have the data center, we have the cloud services. Basically what we do, we provide the underlying infrastructure to enable this next digital economy. So this next, the NetUnited for this year, we'll be focusing on all those things, and we will be deliberating. We'll bring in experts, to come in and let us share together how do we move from where we are today to where we need to be in the next 5 years. The rest of the world is moving on. If I tell you, today, for instance, if you look at the per capita income of Nigeria is just about maybe 10% of what you have in the US, in the UK, and some parts of Europe, for instance. So we need to be able to leverage what we have, and we have the population. So if you have the population and you have the natural resources, we want to be able to discuss how we can build infrastructure to be able to attract investors into this industry, and that's the only way we can catch up with the rest of the world. We have oil, and of course everybody know now that in next few years oil is going to be it's not going to be relevant anymore. So we need to look at what is the next thing, and that is the focus of this next the next NetUnited.
Okay, still on NetUnited. I guess given the challenges of COVID-19, the reality of the times in which we have found ourselves is going to be a virtual conference.
Yes.
How would that work, and who are the expected participants? What's your plan?
Yeah, so we'll be we'll be bringing a lot of our partners, looking at how it's going to work. Doctor, if you remember, in the last maybe some 3 years, 5 years before now, nobody believed that, people can actually work and deliver what they're supposed to do without getting into the office. Every morning, you see people on the Tommy Land Bridge, a lot of traffic because people want to get to the office. But we survived the last 1 year, leveraging technology, and, people just realized that, oh, sorry, I don't have to be in the office really to be able to deliver. So it's the same thing for the digital or the virtual NetUnited. A lot of conferences that we used to attend in Europe, in Africa, in America before, are now hosted virtually. And you know what? It's actually providing a lot. Yes, of course, there is the part of, seeing somebody and having a handshake and all that. But those events are actually delivering the value that they're supposed to deliver. So we expect that the next NetUnited also will be hosted virtually, and it's an opportunity to meet people. It's also an opportunity to break boundaries. A lot of people may not be able to, for the physical one, sometimes you don't get to have people to come from the US, from the UK because of visa and so many other logistics challenges. In this case, it's not just going to be there. So you expect it to be richer than what we used to do before, because now there is no limitation in the number of people that can come participation. And events like this will now be live, and then you will be surprised that people will join from the United Kingdom, from the United States, and all that, contributing to how Nigeria can develop from how they see it. And you expect that it's going to be far, far, far richer than what we used to have when we have the physical meeting.
Right, let's talk about MainOne as the data center capital of West Africa, as some might call it. I'm sure you would agree. So can you tell us about your overall capacity and efficiency?
Sorry, I can't hear you very well. The volume is low.
MainOne as the data center capital of West Africa.
Yes, correct.
So can you tell us about your capacity, your overall capacity and efficiency?
All right. Let me talk about efficiency. As a policy, as part of our strategy, when we build a data center, we design a lot of efficiency into our operations. If you're talking about data center efficiency, you're talking about how much power is used, for instance. And efficiency of data center is measured in what you call PUE, power utilization efficiency. And what that means is that it's a measure of how much power that the entire facility is consuming, a ratio of how much the facility is consuming versus the actual compute, the actual power that the compute machine, which is the computers. So the lower you have that ratio, the better. Across the world, the standard is from about 1.3, 1.4 to about 2.4, 2.5 maybe, depending on where you are. So if you are in the Nordics, for instance, you are in Norway and you're in Canada and all those places where you can take advantage of the weather, to do your cooling, for instance, you can be doing something close to 1.3. But in this place, especially in Nigeria, you have very high temperature, you have very high humidity. Those things take your PUE to about, on average, you see about 1.7, 1.8, which is usually what you do. For MainOne, currently our data center in Lagos is running at PUE of 1.5, 1.55. And what that means is that we've been able to build a lot of efficiency into our operations, in the way we contain, the heat, in the way we use the energy that we're taking. And let me also mention that one of the other things that has given us, why we pride ourselves as the greenest data center in the whole of Africa, West Africa, let me put it that way, is the fact that today we have a direct connection to the national grid through the Ajah substation of Eco Electricity Distribution Company. And so what that gives to us is that because we're taking a lot of energy from the grid, which is a combination of hydro and gas, and just about 95% is what we have, on the average in a day. Every day we have about 95% of our energy coming in from the national grid. And then, so we don't have to run, generator for most of the time. So we're saving a lot of carbon, for instance. And this is, where the world is going into, all over the world now, people are talking about energy efficiency. They're talking about energy management, carbon footprint. I want to say that we are a little bit ahead of others when it comes to that. And it's not by mistake that, we're having this connection. It's part of all our design at the beginning when we were setting up. So in terms of, so that's in terms of efficiency. We're also looking at a lot of initiative, looking at how we can, even the rest of the 2 hours, maybe on the average, when 1 hour where we have to use generator in a day. We're also looking at a lot of other green initiative, putting in gas, generators, to subsidize, to complement what we already have from the grid, and also using solar. And that is what we're planning for a lot of our data center across the region. Now, if you're talking about capacity across West Africa, I mentioned that we are, MainOne is present in about 10 countries in the whole of West Africa. And today we have the largest data center in the whole of West Africa. The Lekki DC1, which we have, is about 600 racks, capacity about 4 megawatts of energy. and that is actually, filling up now. And then we've started the construction of a new expansion, which is also in its own going to be another 2 megawatts in phase 1. So in Ghana, we're developing Apollonia, just like I mentioned before. The Apollona Data Center is a 1 megawatt data center, which we expect that is going to serve, the Ghana market, and then, of course, some other countries. In Ivory Coast, we have a data center, and we are also planning we have a cable landing station there, and we have another data center there in Ivory Coast, which is the Abidjan Data Center. And we're planning an expansion also as part of first quarter 2020 rollout. So if you look at, across the region, our objective is to ensure that everybody have access to, data, have access to internet, have access to, digital infrastructure, which we believe that is going to be the next enabler of businesses across West Africa.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Adegbiji, for joining us on the morning show. Wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rufai Antonio. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much indeed.